Hello there, and welcome to another episode of An Anthropologist Watches Amberlynn Reid, and today we're going to go over her live stream, which we are not going to sit and watch. I'm not reacting to I already talk too much as it is. I'm not reacting to a 2-hour live stream because we will never leave this space ever again. But I did watch it and I took some notes. And there were some things I wanted to talk about the live stream. So I figured that would be like a good compromise. So if there's something in the live stream that you think I missed or something, go ahead and leave me a timestamp to the time in the live stream, because that's what I did for myself here. And that will give me some place to check so I don't have to rewatch the whole damn thing just to figure something out. Anyway. So before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to all my subscribers and thank you to all of my members. You guys all rock for various different reasons. I am still working on member content, and I know I need to get my ass on that. So hopefully we'll have something by beginning of next month, but maybe the first week of next month. I forget that this week is the first of the next month. Anyway, and thank you to everybody who's going to hit the like button. Yeah. So there we go. And I have earbuds in today, so if you see me fidgeting with my ears, it's because I'm totally flexing on you guys. Oh yeah. Actually, my hair looked really nice and I kind of wanted to show off, so. That being said, I don't know how long these earbuds are going to last because they keep wanting to fall out of my ears. I can't figure that one out, but trying to think. Oh yeah, my credentials. I am a trained anthropologist. I am an ex-archaeologist, and those are my creds. There you go. Now you know everything I know. I do have her sped up to 1:25 for the clips that I will be playing. However, she was pretty animated this entire episode, and she does this anytime she live streams, so she gets very happy, she gets very giggly, she gets very valley girly, like hardcore valley girly. Oh my god, you guys. And she's constantly smacking her lips and she's constantly licking her lips. I mean, she's doing it in the freeze frame right now. She's also constantly preening and adjusting herself. And I think some of that is nervous reactions. She's just nervous to be on camera unfiltered because she has no control over she has no ability to edit the live streams in real time, kind of a thing. Like, unlike her videos where she can edit it and she can kind of control the narrative, the live streams are a little bit more raw, if you will. So I'm sure she gets a little nervous about those. And I'm just looking over my notes here. So she did get some really good questions, and I think she handled things pretty well as far as her live streams go. Before we start getting into clips, like just some overall observations. She says she's in her bedroom, and I don't not believe her, but then she also says that Feline is in the room watching, and she actually interacts with Feline a couple times during this live stream. And I don't know if Feline was just like passing by and stood in the doorway to make faces at her or something, or if Feline was sitting in the bedroom with Amber the entire time Amber was recording. And I don't know why I think that's weird, because Feline didn't interact with the live stream herself. So why would you sit in a room and watch your ex of all people do a live stream where they talk about your supposed lapse, your hookup? So there's that. I just thought that was strange, if that's really what was going on. Amber loves getting comments about her appearance, even though every time she gets a comment about her appearance, you know, she kind of giggles and she's like, hee, thank you. And then immediately turns around and negs it. I don't think her negging is sincere. I think she's doing it because she wants you to think she's humble. And so she's, oh no, I'm not that pretty. Oh no, it's not, I don't look that good, kind of a thing. When in reality, she really does think she feels good. She's feeling herself through this entire live stream, and it's very evident. So there's that. I think I mentioned that already. She preens a lot. She's constantly playing with her hair. She's smacking her lips. She's fluttering her eyes. She's smiling at the camera. She leans in on more than one occasion so that we can see her eye makeup and how bad it looks. Amber's wings, no, I've only seen Amber's wings not be 100% on point once. And today is not that day. So, whatever. We'll get to the big reveal of Amber's new sparkling diet here at the closer to the end, I think. Because she says a couple things that makes me think, I don't know who Yo Mama is, but apparently someone who was claiming to be Yo Mama has joined the chat at one point, and Amber just like loses her mind over it. I don't know who that is, but she wants to refer to him as her work husband. And I'm going to guess Yo Mama's like a better known YouTuber or something like that. Obviously not better known by me, who lives under a rock, but she refers to him as her work husband, or like she views him as her work husband, which I think is an interesting thing for her to say, because it goes back to the whole like Amber has parasocial relationships with other YouTubers, and she definitely puts herself on the level of other YouTubers, especially YouTubers who are like bigger than her audience wise. And I feel like this Yo Mama thing was probably another situation like that. Like she's put herself on Yo Mama's level. There was some back and forth between her and Yo Mama in the chat, but I don't know if that was actually Yo Mama or somebody trolling, so. Oh, I thought it was interesting closer to the end. She was talking about how she wants to be cringy and she wants to be quirky and she wants to be annoying, basically, because she thinks that that's not boring, implying that people who aren't these incredibly annoying traits are themselves boring. And I don't think Amber understands that these traits that she thinks are so entertaining and so interesting are actually, they're very off-putting, and not because they're not boring. They're actually off-putting because they're so cliche and they are so boring and they're so predictable. There's nothing unique about any of it, and that's why it's cringy. Like, people aren't cringing at her because they think she's done something original. They're cringing at her because it's so predictable and such a cliche and a stereotype and so clearly fake, and none of that is not boring. Like, there's a reason why people are constantly saying Amber's videos are boring, and it's not just because they're repetitive in a non-formulaic way. It's because her attitude and her personality are just so either completely flat or so completely fake that there's nothing interesting going on. It's more interesting to just kind of see how the world unravels around Amber and how she never learns than it is to tune in and be like, oh, Amber's going to overcome something today, or she's going to learn something new today, or she's going to react to something in a new way today. It's not even like that. It's just interesting to watch her not change. That's really what it is. It's just like things constantly happen and she keeps getting all these signs from the universe and she doesn't change. She just completely blanks on them and doesn't change. And she thinks that's interesting. She thinks that's what an interesting personality is like. And it's just like, look at all of these YouTubers that you seem to think you're on the same level with, or that you think are your friends. And I guess work harder to mimic them, because at least, I mean, Trisha Paytas was fucking weird. I remember that. But she was like an interesting kind of weird, because you never knew what was going to come out of her mouth next. And that's kind of the cringe that people find interesting. But even like when I'm watching something like Fat Acceptance Cringe, because I watch a lot of the compilations and I watch how people react to it, it is interesting to me because of how repetitive it is. Like, they only have so many talking points, and it's just a matter of watching them try to refresh the same talking points and make them sound like they're new. But it is also very boring because that's the same talking points every single time. And you already know how to refute them because A, they're anti-scientific and anti-intellectual. So all you have to do is like point out that they are these things. And B, the argument never changes. Amber's kind of the same way. You just have to point out how she's being completely illogical and unreasonable. And then you also have to point out how she never changes. And that pretty much solves Amber. Just the thing about the crab. Okay, she gets on a kick about what she's going to have for dinner. It's closer to the end. And, well, it's real close to the end. She's talking about how she really wants a seafood boil. And so she starts talking about her brand new allergy to crab. And she's like, oh, I've never, I don't really eat real crab any of the time because all of the restaurants use fake crab. My first thought was like cheap restaurants use fake crab. And I'm like, no, they really don't. A lot of Chinese or Asian inspired restaurants will use, not restaurants, but like fast food kind of delivery restaurants will use imitation crab in their meals, but they will always tell you that it's imitation crab. Like, I don't think I've ever eaten in some place where I've ordered a crab dish and it was imitation crab that I wasn't told that on the menu, because it's pretty evident if you've ever had real crab that this is not real crab. It doesn't even look like real crab. It's an imitation of what real crab would look like. And it's usually made out of like whiting or pike. I don't know. There's two different fishes that they use to make it. And then there's like flavorings and stuff. I mean, it's fish bologna in the shape of a crab stick. My thing is that Amber doesn't eat at restaurants, like actual nice restaurants that would actually use real crab. And you don't even have to go to that fancy of a restaurant. You can go to like Red Lobster, and Red Lobster will serve you real crab. I mean, you can go to Lidl and buy crab legs at Lidl, which is basically, if you don't have one, it's just all these competitors. So their prices are pretty much identical. It's not that hard to get hold of crab. You can go to an international supermarket and buy it by the pound, and it's not expensive, is my point. So it just further points out to me that she just doesn't eat real food. If it's not an ultra processed pre-made food, she just doesn't eat it. She's just never had real good food. And that's why she can't eat like a normal person, I guess. I don't know. She did say something really weird where she said something like A, and then she follows it up with, she goes, I say A because I'm from Canada. I think she was joking, but it was really weird. I was just like, because I know she's not from Canada, right? Does she think she's Foodie Beauty now? Let's see. I did keep a running tally of how many times she checked her phone throughout this live stream, and I included times where she didn't necessarily pick the phone up, but she was definitely looking at the phone. And my count came out to 38 times that I noticed, and I'm willing to believe that it's higher than that, because I know I didn't start counting until 5 minutes into the live stream, and she was literally checking her phone I'm not even exaggerating, you guys. It's like sometimes there's only 10 seconds in between her checking the phone, and it went on forever. She was checking the phone pretty regularly. And then at certain points when she would check the phone, she just wouldn't put the phone down. She just continued to hold the phone, which, I mean, I only counted that as one phone check, but she'd have the phone in her hand for like 5 minutes. So she was on that phone a lot. I don't know if that was like a safety blanket kind of a situation for her, like a touchstone for her during the live stream, for her to be so nervous about things. But yeah, she was on that phone a lot. And then when people started calling her out for it, which was pretty early on, she said, this is my friend who needs me. And I don't know about you guys, but if I was texting with a good friend, or even a not so great friend who needed me in the moment, I wouldn't be live streaming. Because I will assume if my friend needs me that it's something relatively major, which would require some of my attention. And I just don't think live streaming while talking to your friend who needs help is a great idea. Also, maybe not telling the entire internet that your friend needs help, because people are going to figure out who this is eventually, and then they're going to go bug that person as to why did you need help that day? But that requires forethought and far thought, both of which Amber doesn't have. She does say that the lip smacking thing is apparently a nervous habit. I can kind of believe that. She does say at one point, I wish I'd brought my lipstick in with me. Her lips might have been dry. My lips get dry when I talk too much, so I will give her a small pass on that, but not a huge pass, because every time she picked up the phone to text back, she was either smiling, giggling, licking her lips, or blushing. And then she wants us to be like, no, it's not a new girlfriend. It's not a new boo. This is why no one believes you. You're very bad at lying. You're even worse with your body language. I think she took a couple jobs at Becky. Let's see. I don't want to talk. Let's go somewhat chronologically. She does jump all over the place. Not that big of a deal.
I'm just here to literally let everyone know that, like, I don't have the ability to, like, film for some
So she says she doesn't have the ability to film. And then
reason I just, like, can't do it. I've just been going through, like, a lot. So I wanted to live stream for you guys because I missed you, and a lot of people, like, oh my God, someone literally messaged my mom and said that I died.
I believe her. I do. I believe her because she doesn't have any over-exaggerated facial expressions. Her eyes aren't wandering all over the place. I believe her that someone texted her mom and told her that she died. That person is an asshole. But the whole, like, I'm going through it. Can we be done going through it now? She does come back to mention that she's going through it again about three minutes in again. And that's when she tells us about the lip smacking. She does mention France. Let's see. Someone asks her, why does she have so many French supporters?
Why do I have so many supporters from France? Because I forget her name. Oh my God, I'm such a horrible person. I love that for me. A famous YouTuber from around there made a, like, documentary style video on me. Actually, 2 of them. Where she was, like, sticking up for me and stuff.
I saw someone who, it's the lady that does the rhetoric crap. But she apparently also speaks French, or at least is somewhat fluent in French, and she was watching one of the documentaries that the little French girl made. And I meant to go back and rewatch. I meant to go back and watch the whole thing, but I didn't. I am interested to see, I really should, because I am interested when other people kind of get a peek into the Amberverse, but they're definitely outsiders, because every time that happens, the outsider always sees Amber being picked on and Amber being bullied and Amber being just ridiculed and mocked, because that's what's happening. And I mean, people can justify why they do that all they want, but the reality of the situation is that's what's actually happening. And so when people from outside the group who aren't used to it and don't understand why people justify doing it, when they just kind of peek in, they just see the internet bullying this 600-pound woman for being fat, and they don't necessarily know all of the lore behind it. Whether it's justifiable or not, it is actually irrelevant to the point. The point is that outsiders don't get why Amber's audience is so hostile to her. And so for this to even have reached, like, international circles, because I mean, France isn't America, is even more interesting to me, because not only do you have an outsider's view of not understanding why Amber's being bullied, again, not justifying it, but there is, like, a lore behind it. But now you've also got, like, the culture shift. I'm not saying, like, France is so incredibly different than the US, but there's enough of a difference there, France especially, that they don't get a lot of the crap that we do anyway as Americans. But then on top of it, we've got this whether you agree with me or not, Amber is an extreme case of internet bullying, which is another reason why I'm so interested in it. It's also why I work so hard not to, like, fall into that trap, but god damn, she says some dumb shit sometimes. But that's the thing, like, I've watched how many hours of Amberlynn now? And I mean, the French girl, I'm sure she watched several videos, a few videos of Amber, I'm sure, but I mean, because why would you make a documentary on one thing? But I've also read articles. One I keep meaning to go over is one from a yoga trainer. I wanted to say guru, but that's not right. The channel's called Bad Yogi, and I really enjoy doing her. I like her yoga routines. She's especially got a series that's set up for one for each sign of the zodiac, which I just find entertaining to do. They're good yoga stretches. But she wrote an article about Amber and about the bullying that she witnessed Amber going through on the internet, and uses it as a case study for bullying on the internet in general. So it's not just Amber, but it was internet bullying overall. And this is a yoga channel. She has nothing to do with Amber. She's not an Amber watcher. She's not part of the verse. She's not part of Girl World. But people who aren't, who look in, this is what they see. And so but she's from the US and all that. So she's like used to this kind of our group culture. But when you get people from outside of the US who are they're not part of the US culture, and they see this, I think they even have laws in France over cyberbullying, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's always really fascinating to me to see how outsiders view the Amberverse, because it's never flattering, and it's never, they never understand or see the justifications for the bullying of Amber. And that's what I keep trying to point out to people, especially when I was talking about during my analysis, when I was talking about how chat doesn't see the same Amber that we see when you just feed chat raw transcripts and ask it to do an analysis. Chat doesn't see the Amber that the rest of the Amberverse sees. You actually have to prompt chat into seeing it. And even then, chat's not willing to put its foot down, because I don't think chat is capable of doing that. But that's what I just kind of keep trying to want to tell people and impress upon people, especially in this community. It's just like, I understand people are frustrated with her. I understand that she's done things in the past. I understand that she continues to do shit that's very aggravating. Like this whole D8 thing is just infuriating to me. But if you're observing from the outside and you see the extreme reactions that people have towards Amber, all you see is people bullying her if you're not part of the community. And I guess you can say, well, if you're not part of the community, then maybe, stay in your own lane. That's not how the internet works. And if we get to tell Amber that she doesn't get to have safety because of the internet, then we can't really expect safety in our own group because of the internet, kind of a thing. So that's just something I wanted to touch on there. Let's see, what else have we got? People kept asking about the hookup. I don't know. I'm still not sure I believe it happened. Let me see if I can find that. Well, I mean, I know I can find it, but let me see. Because this is also the part where we figure out that Feline's in the room watching. And I just think it's weird.
How was the hookup? People want to know how it went down. Am I allowed to She don't care. She literally don't care what I say. I love that. Do you know Daniel Larson?
She does go on to describe, is it after the Daniel Larson thing?
I don't think so. So what it was,
there we go.
My nose was red. And I was like, can you look at my nose? And so I showed her my nose, and I had my flashlight. And
see this tucking thing she's doing with her shirt, where she's pulling her hands into her shirt? That's a nervous thing. This is a self-soothing gesture that she does. A lot of people will do it. You hide your hands when you're uncomfortable. And so that's what this tugging on the sleeves thing is. That's why I'm thinking a lot of the gestures she's doing during the live stream. I mean, yeah, they're kind of annoying to watch because they're very repetitive, but I think they're just nervous tics, honestly. Which, thinking and assuming that, makes it even more difficult to really read her body language, because anyway, the nervous gestures and stuff make it difficult to read her body language, because the majority of the things she's doing are nervous gestures, yet in a different context, they can come off as being shifty, shady kind of a thing. But, body language has to be taken within context, and it has to be taken with a baseline. And her baseline right now is very nervous. Probably because she's doing a live stream by herself and she doesn't have someone in the corner that she can bully. If we remember the last live stream era. So, funny enough, she does kind of take a couple digs at Becky. Big surprise.
She just like looked into my eyes. It sounds like a movie. It literally low-key felt like a movie. It was so crazy weird.
I mean, okay, so right there, you know, she rolls her eyes and she like smacks her lips. And of course, she's checking the phone. This is one of the times she's checking the phone. So she's trying to distract herself from the story that she's telling. And I add this up after everything I just got done saying. I add this up to, I don't know if it's real. And I think that's why Feline doesn't care, is because I think Feline knows Amber's making shit up. And I think Feline doesn't care, because what difference does it make in Feline's world? We don't really know who she is. And once she vanishes, I don't think anybody's really going to give her crap unless she decides to turn into an internet personality, which I don't see happening, but I would be there for it if it does happen. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm still fence sitting. I'm not entirely convinced it actually happened, but I could have, you know, kind of a thing. Somebody told me that they drew cards for it and they got the Two of Cups, and that's usually like a partner card or like a lover's type of card. I'm not a huge tarot person. I mean, I know about as much tarot as I do German, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something where I'm like mostly competent, but not like fluent. So and that's kind of where I am with tarot. Like, I know my tarot, but I'm not about to start doing readings for people because I can barely do readings for myself, is my point. Anyway, that's why I stick with the runes. But she does kind of refer back to the hookup one more time. I don't know, guys. I don't know. She tells us that she's still on track with her weight loss. Is this where she reveals it to us?
I am still on track. Oh my God. You guys will not believe how much weight I've lost. I could cry. I could literally cry. I don't know how I'm doing it. Wait, I'm getting a little emotional.
I could cry.
Oh my God. I don't understand. Like, I'm getting emotional. You guys will not believe this. So I weighed myself today, which I will show like the clips, because they're obviously on my phone right now. So I'll show the clips like when I put it in a video. But as you guys know, what I weighed, it was when I started on the.
You guys know, okay, I want you to notice the difference here. Hang on. We're going to watch this again. And I want you to watch where her eyes go when she's trying to remember her weight.
No. What I weighed, it was when I started on the 16th. Pretty sure. And I was like, wow.
Did you guys notice where her eyes were? Beautiful picture. Your hair's lovely.
As you guys know,
her eyes are up here. They're up here, and if we figure that this was reversed, because she probably didn't, mine's flipped. So, like, if I point this direction, I'm actually pointing. Mine's, anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, she's looking up, and she's looking this direction. It's flipped in the video, obviously. My point being is, like, this is where she goes when she's remembering things, as opposed to when she looks all the way down here and off to the sides when she's making shit up, is my point. I just wanted you guys to have like an idea of what it looks like when she's remembering crap versus when she's making crap up.
What I weighed, it was when I started on the 16th. Pretty sure. And I was like, wow, okay. I don't know. It kind of just like, people always say like, why haven't you like hit a rock bottom, or like, sorry, I'm getting a little like flustered a little bit. Sorry. Thank you, Christy, for the super chat.
And then we completely lose our train of thought. So there we go. She says she doesn't strike people because someone was saying she was blocking people on her phone. And she's like, I don't strike people. And then later she's like, I don't block people either. I don't know. I think she should. Maybe not the striking part, but the blocking part. Just the people in her damn comment section. I got words for y'all at the end of this, by the way. Especially you, Larry. Larry spent a lot of money just to be a dick. Y'all are like, why would someone spend so much money? I would like to point to Larry as evidence one. Okay, wait, no, she does go on about this. Hang on.
Everyone else. So yeah, it was 5:43. You guys remember, and I was like dying on the inside. And today, you guys will not believe it, which has only been 2 weeks and 2 days.
Look at her.
Are you guys ready? 512 point something or other. So I have lost over 30 pounds in 2 weeks. And
I'm very surprised that she didn't do, yes, I did. She doesn't do that at all through this entire live. She doesn't do somebody called it parroting. She doesn't do any of the repeating that I caught through this entire live stream. I will admit I watched this thing at 2 times speed. I won't lie. So there might have been something that slipped past me, because especially at the last 20 minutes, I was just like, are we done yet?
I might just, you know what? I'm just going to tell you guys what I'm doing. And I feel like people are going to come for me. They're going to come for me. They're going to come for me.
Okay. I'll let her finish, actually.
Okay. So there's no medicine involved. It's literally just fucking willpower, which is crazy. Okay. So I started the first week when I lost over 14 pounds. I was only allowing myself to eat 2 times, but listen, in a 4-hour time span. And my first meal, like I would have it around, because my sleeping schedule was really messed up. It's fixed, by the way. I want to say that I have officially fixed my sleeping schedule.
Good, because we were all very concerned about your sleep schedule.
So I would have my first meal at about like 7 p.m. And then I would, well, no, it was like 8. And then I would allow myself to have like 300 more calories around there of something else. And I normally chose protein. That's why you guys were seeing me eat those freaking meatballs like a crazy woman. Because that was just so easy for me. And it was only 300 calories for 6 of them. And so
she checked her phone, by the way, there. She checked her phone. She saw something that made her laugh. And now she's like off track.
What was I saying?
Right.
Literally, I lost everything that I was saying.
It's almost like multitasking makes you stupid. Gonna keep throwing that out there.
Anyways, long story short, the second week, you guys don't be mad, okay? I've kind of only been eating like once a day. I know a lot of people don't agree with it. I have never agreed with OMAD, like ever. I've always like, that's so unhealthy, like what? But I literally took everything that I thought I knew about weight loss and I said, fuck it. And I just want to do like what would make me feel the best. And that's literally how I've lost over 30 pounds. So I'm going to keep doing it. And, yeah, it just feels really good. And it's like, I'm not even eating a ton at once. And I think that's probably why I'm dropping so much weight, because I feel like I might be like under eating a little bit. But it's like, how can you under eat at this size? For so long, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to under eat. But it's like, bitch, please, like you need to lose weight. Like,
you know, when she gets like straight up honest with herself, it always amuses me. She's just like, bitch, please. It's like, yeah, exactly.
Get your shit together. So I have not felt better. Like it is absolutely insane. And it's like, everyone's always like, do something you've never tried. Do something you've never tried. So I'm like, OMAD.
I was kind of just like, not quite reading the comment section, but I would kind of glance down occasionally. And there are some people who are just like freaking out over the OMAD thing because like OMAD, whatever. And for the most part, I don't think people are like coming for her. I think people are just very skeptical, like for obvious reasons. We have a right to be skeptical at this point. But she even admits that she'll have the one meal, and then if she gets hungry later, she'll let herself have another 300 calorie snack. But she was very insistent that it was protein. We can argue about protein in those pre-made meatballs, but whatever, you know, it doesn't really matter at this point. The people that do come forward, there were a lot of people who are like, oh my God, you're going to starve yourself. Oh my God, it's not going to last because yada, yada, yada. OMAD has been studied as much as and it's not really even a diet, because you're not restricted to what you can eat on OMAD. It's just when you eat on OMAD, you're only allowed 1 meal a day. And the studies I've seen on OMAD, it can work for people. It's like intermittent fasting. It works just as well as intermittent fasting does in, you know, certain people. And I've watched people do OMAD, and there are some people that just swear by it. And these are like bodybuilders and stuff. People are like super extra healthy. I know that bodybuilders aren't like, you know, the pentacle of health, but there are groups of people, there are guys and girls that I see who do the OMAD thing, and it works fine for them. Okay. Some people are just like, they're like, oh, I'm so busy, I just don't have time to eat, so I make sure I have 1 big meal a day and then I'm fine. I can't do that. It doesn't work for me. I have to have my meals stretched out throughout the day. But I have weird blood sugar, so I have a quirky blood sugar, you guys. That being said, if OMAD's working for her, and again, it's not pure OMAD. She mentions the first 2 weeks she was allowing herself 2 meals, and I think she did say that she let herself have like a 300-calorie snack. This is not a snack for me, but for her, it kind of is. If she's basically doing 1 or 2 meals a day and they're protein heavy meals, I could see her being full. I don't have anything wrong with this. And the studies that are out there don't show any kind of like, I haven't seen anything that shows a negative health effect of OMAD. And with Amber, it's been 2 weeks. That's the longest she's ever done anything in my mind, that in my recollection, that wasn't like forced on her. And even then I can't think of anything like that. So I do feel like 30 pounds is a lot. I might be crazy. I don't know. I've never been this large. I've never had this much weight to lose. So even if it's water weight, that's basically like 15 pounds a week. And I don't know. I just feel like that's a lot of weight. If she maintained that, she'd be losing like 60 pounds in a week or in a month. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's healthy at her size. I don't know if that's healthy at any size. So I don't know. What I'm saying is y'all need to not freak out about the OMAD thing. She's not going to starve to death. Okay. She's not going to become anorexic because she's eating 1 meal a day. She does make some snide comment about not taking her meds again and how she doesn't have brain fog anymore. Again, if you're on meds and you're having reactions to the medication that you don't like, or you're having too much brain fog, because that was what happened to me, go see a doctor and ask them to change your meds. And that's what happened. And now I'm on something that I like and it doesn't give me brain fog. Don't cold turkey your meds, because I did that too. And it's terrible. I cannot express to you how bad it is. I cannot tell you how bad it is. Don't do it. So then she goes on to talk about her D8 habit. I still, you cannot convince me that she's doing it. I refuse to believe it. She doesn't act any different. She doesn't say or do anything any different. There is no change in her behavior, in her vernacular, and the way her eyes blink. There's no freaking change whatsoever when she's taking the D8 and when she's not taking the D8. So no, either she has always for the history of her channel been taking D8, which is absolutely impossible, or she's not taking the D8. Those are the only two options, honestly. And then this is my favorite part though. She sits here and talks about the D8 for like 3 to 4 minutes and then says, you guys, because they start talking about, meth in the chat for some reason. I don't know. I wasn't there for what triggered that. God only knows in that chat. She goes, you guys, I can't talk about drugs on here. And then goes on to say, I don't think D8's a drug. No, it's not even D8. She says, what does she say? I don't think THC is a drug. Huh. Would you like me to look up the definition of THC? In Amber's mind, apparently, medications are evil because they do things, and she can't even take painkillers because medications be evil, yo. And then she also can't talk about drugs of any variety because drugs apparently are evil, yo. But D8 and THC are not drugs. They're just flavors that you put into gummies, apparently. Further proving my point that she has no fucking clue what she's talking about. More reasons why I don't believe the DH anything. It's just made up crap she's trying to impress somebody with. It's a story that she's put her foot down on, and now she just keeps wanting to perpetuate it for some reason. I'm sure it has to do with the new boo or something. I don't know. Or maybe she just thinks it's cute and quirky and edgy and makes her not boring. She does admit that she's only eating takeout, pretty much, except for those meatballs that she buys. So why does she even buy food? If she's just going to eat takeout, why does she even buy groceries? Especially if we're doing the 1 meal a day thing. Like, in the long run, in that situation, if this were a true situation and she was only eating one meal a day and it was always takeout, she would actually be saving money by not buying groceries, because by buying groceries and buying takeout, she's spending like twice the money on food that apparently she doesn't eat. So why bother? You know, that's my thing. So then we get to the part where she's like talking about, someone asks her about e-begging and Venmo and
opinions on YouTubers giving their cash apps out. What do you mean? Like, if someone's like, hey, here's my Venmo, or hey, here's my PayPal, send me some money, like that type of situation. I think that if you are doing it for like a reason of like, hi, I'm in a rut, I need help, I have no one to turn to, I think that's 100% fine. But if you're someone who obviously doesn't need help, I think that's pretty like ridiculous. That's my opinion. Like, if you don't need help, don't ask for it. I don't know. That's just like the way that I see it.
I like her face when she does it. I don't know. That's just the way that I see it. She has a very Donald Trump face. I have no one else to like liken it to. It's just her facial expressions are very, very similar to Donald Trump's. And I'm sorry to make that comparison, but it's like true. I haven't been following Becky at all since she left. And I didn't really follow Becky much while they were together. Honestly, Becky was just kind of a background character for me. And that's not a personal slam on Becky. I just didn't follow Becky. And I know that Becky, after she left, did some stuff where she was like asking for money or something like that, or she did a fundraiser for a car or something like that. And I know people got like kind of pissy over the fact that they gave her money and then she used the money. That's when you give people money, this is what happens with the money. So I feel like someone asking her that question was kind of a setup for her to, and that was sent by a super chat, by the way. Somebody paid money to ask that question. And so I feel like her answer was kind of shady, because I know Becky has gone through that and has asked for money online. And her response to it is, you know, if you don't need help, then you shouldn't ask for help. But if you do need help, then it's okay, I guess. So I don't know. I kind of felt like somebody was trying to set her up for it. And then we get a story about how she was in the mental hospital at 15. And that's the first I've heard of it. So I don't know. Y'all can fact check me on that one, because I don't remember her ever telling this story about her being in the mental hospital when she was 15. And she says it was only for 4 days during this live stream. I'm not going to play it because she also talks about some piercings on certain body parts that just make me cringe. So there you go. But it's around the 40-20 mark if you guys are interested. And I didn't even know you could go to the hospital at the mental hospital at 15. Do they even have mental hospitals anymore? Anyway, it doesn't matter. She does a little bit more phone checking, and then there's another person asking her about e-begging. Just straight up asking about e-begging.
Have you ever given to an e-beggar? Would you? Hi, David. An e-beggar. What is an e-beggar? Is it someone who's asking for money online? See,
how do you not know what e-begging is? Like, you've been online. How have you been? Okay. I get how somebody who isn't chronically online wouldn't know what e-begging was. I get that part. Amber lives and exists online. How do you not know what an e-beg is?
I don't like the way e-beggar sounds. That sounds kind of mean.
I don't like the way it sounds either. Let's not pretend like people aren't on the internet to make money, please.
Because I really do feel like some people actually truly need money. And yes, I have given before. I don't do this anymore because things got messy and I realized some things and whatever. But I would get contacted all the time by people like, can you pay for my kids' school clothes? Can you pay for my electricity? I can't.
She's making shit up again. Because she's altruistic, Lynn.
I need gas. Like these were just complete strangers, but there were people who watched me, and I felt like the only reason why I have money is because of them. So I would give money in that sense. And then some things happened and I realized I should not be doing that at all. But that was something that I did a lot. In 2019, especially, I was very, very giving with my money and to complete strangers.
A lot happened in 2019 for her. A lot happened in 2019.
Yeah, I have like, there's a lot of people I'm glad I helped, but I realized that some of them were actually trolls, and I gave money to trolls and to people who actually hated me. And that was a whole moment. So hated that. Why won't I move to Indiana? Indiana? Did I say that right?
As someone from Indiana, yes. How do you not know how to say Indiana? It's literally phonetic. But anyway, so I just think it's interesting that on the one hand, she's like, "Oh, if you don't need help, you shouldn't ask for help." And then on the other hand, she's like, "Oh, it's fine if you need help." And I've given so much money to people. Sure. Somebody calls her out for being smug. Wasn't me.
Your smug face. Oh, what does smug mean? I feel like I've never felt that way, but like people call me smug, so then I start to believe that maybe I am.
What does smug even mean? Well,
see, that's what happens. Like people tell me something about myself that like that's not true, but then I start to believe it. Like, oh my God, when people didn't believe that I had cancer, that was like
she is the queen of shifting the storyline. Like someone asks her about, or someone calls her out for being smug. It bugs her enough that she has to address it, pretend like she doesn't know what the word smug means. You know, literary Lynn doesn't know what the word smug means. And then she pretends like maybe I am smug, but I'm only smug because y'all call me smug and I think I'm smug. And now we're getting this story about how, and then she shifts it to the cancer story all over again and accuses her audience of gaslighting her. And it's just the series of events, the series of thoughts that gets us to that point is just mind reeling. Yeah. And so then we have to check our phone again. She talks about how she hasn't done Legos or journaling in a hot minute. And she's like, am I depressed? Oh my God. I don't think she's depressed. Okay. She can be depressed. I do believe that. I don't think she is depressed. I think she's bored. And of course she's bored. This is all she does. She says that she hasn't been journaling. She hasn't bought any Legos lately. And that she's like, oh my God, maybe I'm depressed. And she says it in the most Valley Girl way she could possibly have said it in. And then we go on to talk more about how she doesn't take medicine because medicine bad. And we have to check our phone a few more times, to which we are then told that she hates texting. And she doesn't like talking on the phone. But you guys, her friend needs her right now. So we have to check the phone again, all the while laughing and smirking and looking smug. And then we spend a few minutes preening. Then we start blaming our trauma for something.
I did stop for a minute. I did. Oh my God. Such a pretty dog.
Squirrel. She had been talking about how she'd stopped taking Delta 8 there for a little minute. And then, you know, since her story is so poignant and sincere, she easily got distracted by a dog walking past the window.
I love seeing all the dogs walk around. It's my favorite. It's my actual
And checking
favorite.
her phone.
I act like a teenager. Yeah, I probably do. I'm not gonna lie. Like trauma, mental illness, like it does what it does. And I don't care. Like I would rather just enjoy my life, whether that be acting like a teenager or whatever it may be. As long as I'm like happy than just being myself.
Happy in being myself. I think Amber is immature. I think that is a true Amber. I think that's not an act for her. I think the amount that she plays it up is an act. And especially right now, she's definitely got Valley Girl Lynn going on. This isn't This is closer to real Lynn than the actual videos are, but this is still a character. This is still Valley Girl Lynn. It's still the character that she's playing. She's obviously acting cute. She's acting bubbly. She's trying to go for that whole manic pixie dream girl thing again. She's playing for someone, probably the person on her phone. I mean, how many times when she was doing the lives with Becky during the breakup era with Becky was she constantly saying, no, you guys, I'm not texting my girlfriend. I'm not texting a new boo. It's not a new boo. And then later we find out that it had been wifey the whole time. Like, there's reasons we don't believe you when you say you're not texting a new boo. And it's not just the smiles and the lip licking and the blushing and the giggling. It's also the past behavior where we watched you do the exact same thing and then moved your girlfriend in 2 weeks after you booted Becky. Oh, she talks about her TikToks and how she's really into making the TikTok transitions, the ones where I guess you start off looking terrible and then you make yourself look absolutely fabulous. And she says that in the last 2 TikToks that she put up, she was so dedicated to the looking bad and then looking good part that she put baby oil in her hair to make it look greasy. Girl, it's okay. We know you don't wash your hair. No one in their right mind is going to believe that you bought baby oil to put in your hair for a less than 30-second clip on TikTok. No. Nice try, though. We start talking about having a seafood boil and having that be her one meal for the day. I don't know why I wrote that down, but apparently it was important to me at the time. She does start talking about doing mukbangs, and I swear to God, she will do... The mukbang era is coming. And she was like, oh, maybe I should do a mukbang live. And she's like, if I did that, I'd have to change my shirt and put my hair up and yada, 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 because I take my seafood boil seriously, you guys. I've never had one. They don't look like something I would enjoy, so I've never had one. I guess maybe I should try it. Speaking of weird food things, we do go on to talk about how she hates meat and how she doesn't trust chicken sandwiches from Chick-fil-A because you never know if the chicken's going to be raw in the middle. Trust me, it will not be raw in the middle. They overcook the hell out of their chicken. It not only will it not be raw in the middle, but it might actually be shoe leather on the edges. So there's that. But she does admit that, like, she admits her hypocrisy of claiming to not like meat and yet still eating the meat. And this is an interesting section for me because, y'all, she's on to us. Yeah, okay. We're on the phone again. See?
All right.
But guys, I'm not flirting. Look at her.
She's really in it to win it right now. Have you seen the new Chick-fil-A sandwich? No, I don't like chicken sandwiches like that. Like, what if it's raw in the middle or like what?
Why do people make that noise? Why do you have to make the fake puke noise? Like, why? Why do people do that? It's just like, I hate it when everyone does it. Anyone can do it. And it just immediately triggers me to be violent.
If the texture's weird, like me and meat, I'm picky. I can't do it.
Somebody did point out in my comment section, because I was like, what the hell is your problem with the stalks of broccoli, yet you'll eat a carrot? And they were like, it's not really a texture thing. It's because she doesn't have any back teeth and she can't chew. I didn't really think about that, but yeah, maybe. And that could be her problem with the meat. It's not really a texture. It's just if you get... I mean, meat requires chewing. And so maybe she just doesn't like that. And that's why she likes things like the meatballs and stuff, things that she can chew with her front teeth, because it's already basically mush anyway. Very tasty mush, but it's still mush. It's not like a piece of, muscle that you still have to chew up to eat, to swallow. Ah, yes. We're not smiling or laughing at the phone, y'all. She's trying so hard to hide every time she does the phone. Hang on. Every time she does the phone, she's trying so hard to not show us that she's smiling or giggling or blushing that she always presses her lips together and she'll lick them. She'll do that thing with her tongue. And then right here, she couldn't stop the smile enough. So she covered her mouth and she's trying to not show us that she's flirting because she keeps getting called out for it and she keeps denying that it's happening. But it's just like, if you want people to quit calling you out for it, quit texting on your live. Like, why are you doing this? Turn your phone off, set it aside. You'll be all right. I promise.
Would I ever cut my hair shorter? No. No. So you're going vegan? No. Oh my God, that's funny. It doesn't like meat, but still eats it. Like, what am I? What am I? I don't know. It's because I like crab, even though it makes my nose itch. Allergic to crab mildly, but still eats it. Like, I'm a walking contradiction. I'm a hypocrite. And that is why all of you watch me, because I'm a freaking mess. And I love that.
She's on to us.
I wouldn't want to be anyone else. So no, not allergic to eggs. It's just like an egg.
Eggs. It's just an egg allergy. She goes on to tell us that if she was going to do a podcast, she would want it to be with somebody who she had a lot of back and forth banter with, and like her dream co-host would be Destiny. I wouldn't watch that or listen to it because I don't like Destiny at all. And I'm not here to just listen to Destiny be a dick on the internet, because I don't find Destiny funny either. Like, Destiny's just a shady, nasty, bitter little woman who I just have no sympathy for and dislike greatly. So there you go. And then she says her second choice would be Eric, but her and Eric aren't friends anymore. So I guess we're not doing a podcast.
I am cringe, and I love.
Right before she starts that, she's like, yeah, I am cringe. Why are you kissing the camera? You're so annoying. Right there.
I am cringe, and I love cringe. People who are cringe, it's so entertaining. Like, why would you want to be like a boring person? Like, I want you to be weird. I want you to be cringe. I want you to be random. I want you to be all those things that everyone puts such bad, like, feelings around. I want you to be that. I don't want you to be normal. I don't want you to be boring. I don't want any of that. Like, just no, I'm good.
So I want you to be insufferable. I want you to be intolerable. I want you to be the kind of person that no one wants to be around because you're just impossible to be around. That's the kind of person I want you to be. Not someone who's like, I could actually have a conversation with and sit in a room with and, I don't know, watch a television show with and like enjoy being in the presence of. No. That person's boring. It just further like points out to me that I could not be in the same room as Amber, just because even if Amber were a skinny bitch, I could not be in the same room with her because her personality alone would rub me so wrong that I would just need to leave because I couldn't stand it. That kind of a thing. And it also tells me that she does it on purpose. So it further reinforces for me that this personality that we see of her is completely fabricated, and it's just how she views herself, and she's so desperate to not be normal or boring or average that she's going out of her way to be extra in everything. And so that also tells me that it's all fake. So this isn't real Lynn. This is, again, a character that she's putting on for us. And she basically admits it. The last thing I want to hit on before I start talking about the chat. Oh my God. I just looked at how long I've been recording. She gets asked about the power imbalance of dating a viewer. And then she's like, I don't think there would be a power imbalance because I don't view being a YouTuber as, you know, a position of power or something to that effect. And I don't know if I entirely agree or disagree. I think there's a nuance there. Most of her, let's see, the two girlfriends that have reached out to her after she became a better known YouTuber were Becky and Feline. And Becky probably didn't know what she was getting into just yet because Amber wasn't like super popular just then. She was popular enough she was getting monetized, but I don't think she was like as all over the place as when Feline joined the conversation. And Feline, remember, joined the conversation while Amber was breaking up with Becky via the lives, and while Amber was doing the lives where she was being an absolute cock knocker to Becky. Like, she was going out of her way to just be above and beyond mean to Becky because Becky was there and she could. And Feline still thought that, hell yeah, that's my next wife right there. And then knowing that Becky was still there, Feline moved in with Amber and basically pushed Becky out, and then spent the first, 6 months of their relationship bad-mouthing Becky every chance she got. So let's not forget these things about Feline, please. We as a community have a habit of like whitewashing the exes after they become exes, and we tend to forget the characteristics of the exes when they've come into the picture. Like, Becky kind of got ambushed, in my opinion. Like, I don't doubt Becky reached out to Amber because she thought Amber needed a friend, and that was very nice of Becky to do. And then Amber was like, hell yeah, new girlfriend, and just basically kind of like strong-armed Becky into it. And that relationship lasted, 4 years? Were they together 4 years or 6 years or something like that? And so Becky just kind of got ambushed with that. And it just, like, circumstances just kept getting worse for Becky during the relationship, okay? So I don't doubt any of that. But there were also some decisions that Becky made during the relationship. She went after her friends in Amber's name. She quit her job because Amber let her do it. Nobody's perfect in these situations. However, when Becky was finally like, enough is enough and I'm leaving, Amber went out of her way to just be an absolute bitch. On top of bringing in the first person, it seemed like, who reached out to her in her DMs, who wanted a piece of her. And that's one of the other main reasons why I don't like Feline in general. Like, if I had to pick, I would pick Feline over Destiny. But Feline is not a good person, in my opinion. Okay, she may not be the worst person in the world, but she's not a good person either. I don't think she came in with any kind of savior complex. She knew what she was getting into. I don't believe for a minute that she didn't know who Amber was, because how else would you roll into her DMs? And also, we know that she was watching the live streams, and we know that she was texting Amber during the live streams. Okay, and then she moved in with Amber and Becky, and while Amber and Becky were still doing live streams, until Becky was finally like, I'm outie. Okay? Feline was there for all of that. And then Feline turned around and attacked Becky after Becky moved out, and was part of the, like, if we want to really play the silencing Becky game, Feline was kind of there to reinforce all of that. Okay? Just reminding people of this. Which is why I'm waiting for Amber to no longer be living with Feline, because we've already seen her start to throw Feline under the bus. So I can't wait to see how bad the bus tossing is going to get once Feline is no longer there to poke her head into the bedroom and check on Amber and see if she's bad-mouthing her or not. Or sit in the bedroom while Amber's live streaming, which is weird if that's what really happened. So, that all being said, I do want to touch on a few things about the chat, which I just found stupid. I have no other word for it. It's just idiocracy on behalf of the viewership, the chat viewership. Amber needs more than one mod. She needs a mod that's going to stick around for the live and not just like dip after the first 20 minutes, Lindsay. And B, she needs mods that are actually going to do their damn job, because her chat was off the fucking walls, man. Off the hook. People were just dumb. There was one guy named Larry. Now, he quit after a while. When was the last time I saw a super chat come across from him? Somewhere around the hour mark, Larry finally decided to leave. But Larry spent somewhere between $25 and $30 to send Amber the exact same message over and over again, which was basically, your mama sucks. Larry spent $25 to $30 to just constantly tell Amber her mom sucks. Larry, if you would like to come into my next live and just send me negative super chats, you are welcome to do so. Why was Larry there? Where was your mod? Why didn't someone boot him? Your mods suck. Amber, get better mods. And Larry wasn't the only person. He was just the one that did it the most. I think there was another person that spent somewhere around $10 to $15 basically doing the same thing, going on about Amber's mom. I don't know why everybody felt like they really needed to go in hard on Amber's mom, because those are just the people leaving the super chats. There were the $2 chats which went by too fast, and I didn't give a crap to scroll back up to read them. But the ones that I caught, some of them were nice. And I mean, some of her $5 super chats were very nice as well. So, I mean, some of them were like, oh my God, Amber, you're my favorite YouTuber. I love you, and stuff like that. So that's fine. But why would you pay money to do that? Like, and this is why when people are like, oh, who would have paid that much money to send her cakes just as a troll? Larry would do that. Okay. Clearly, Larry does not have a problem spending money to say mean shit to Amber on the internet. Okay. And then there were just people who were just like, you can't see the chat because I'm behind it and I'm too lazy to move it. There were people who just kept sending literally the same message. Clearly they were just spamming, and they were cutting and pasting their comment over and over again. And there were people who were sending things in all caps, and they were just mean things like, someone was saying like meth mama killed a dog or something like that. And those were like the over the top comments. Those aren't just the people who are just in there just saying dumb shit just to say it. I get that people don't like Amber. I really do. And I get that some people have their reasons for not liking Amber, whether I agree with them or not. I myself am not a huge fan of Amber. I'm not a fan of Amber at all. I'm a fan of the Amberverse. You don't see me in her chat. I saw this when it went live. You didn't see me jump in here just to start typing nasty messages to her. I have other things to do with my time. Apparently other people don't. And I don't feel bad saying that, because the behavior of the people in her chat was appalling, which brings me back to my first point when I started this whole thing off. And it's this kind of crap, which is why when people who just kind of poke their head in, if you knew nothing about Amber, and this was for whatever reason the first time you've ever watched Amber, and you watch the chat while you're watching this live, you would not understand why these people were being so incredibly awful, other than they're just being cyberbullies. And in all honesty, this is basically the definition of cyberbullying. Okay. I don't care what the justification is for some of the behavior in her chat or whatever Larry's problem was. I'm just hitting on Larry because I kept track of him. He popped up so frequently that I noticed. Okay. And those were just the super chats he was sending. All right. So it's just appalling. And I know not everyone in her chat was doing that. There were a lot of people who were just saying nice things like you would normally expect, or who were asking not exactly like controversial questions, and there were people who were calling her out on her BS, which is fine too. Like, there's a way to do that without being in all caps and sending horrible, nasty messages about your family members, or, you know, making weird accusations that honestly don't have any backing to them. I don't care what y'all want to say. But it's just very strange to me, the behavior. And the other part of that is if she had had a decent mod or two, that should have been taken care of for her, because it's my understanding that that's what a mod is. And if I ever have a mod in any of my lives, that's what I would expect them to do. I wouldn't be just making someone a mod because I recognize their name or because we're friends on the internet. If I'm going to make you a mod, I'm going to expect you to like catch this shit and stop it, because that's the point. Not only because like for my mental health and my mental safety do I need that taken care of for me while I'm trying to do a live, but also for the rest of the chat. The other people who were in this chat who were genuinely trying to participate in a live chat with Amber got that moment robbed from them because of all of these people who just insisted on making it known that they didn't like Amber. Cool, man. We picked up on that the first time you sent the all caps message. Stop it. Anyway, the chat was just incredible. And not in an entertaining kind of way, and if it feels like I just chastised the entire Amberverse, I kind of did. And I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for that, but I don't know if I care at this point. This live, the chat in this live was just too much. It was just too much. I think that's everything. Okay, well, if you've made it this far in the video and you haven't rage quit, props. Go ahead and leave a leave a phone. Leave a phone or a cell phone emoji down in the comment section. 38 times that I counted. And I'm positive there were times that I didn't catch that she was checking her phone. It was basically the Amberlynn live checking her phone stream. Anyway, leave a phone or a cell phone emoji down in the comment section. Feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to leave a comment. And make sure that you like and subscribe. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to say. Well, again, thank you to all of my members and to all of my subscribers. Cell phone or telephone in the emoji section. This is your final reminder to like and subscribe. And I will see everybody in the in the next one. Bye.